Hello, good morning. Welcome to the course on ubiquitous computing. Today we'll look at a point in the fifth unit which is based upon ubiquitous computing privacy. Means in this fifth unit we'll be majorly considering or our major concern is about the ubiquitous privacy. So, we look into the details of this ubiquitous computing privacy. So, first of all, we look or we'll try to locate a definition of ubiquitous privacy. So, privacy has been on people's mind even before credit cards or the internet came along. Everybody seems to have some sort of intuitive understanding of what privacy means on a case by case basis, yet it is difficult to objectively define what exactly it is. The legal scholars have long since grappled with such a definition in order to write laws and regulations that describes what type of the privacy protections should be granted, and they provide a good start to analyze this complex topic. So, we'll try to locate a definition of a privacy. So, privacy is a claim of individuals or groups or institutions to determine for themselves when, how, and to what extent information about them is communicated to others. That is called as privacy. Means whatever things associated with me, being an individual, it completely depends upon me how much information or how much things that are associated with me that I am going to disclose to the others. Means it depends what extent that I am going to disclose. And again, this varies individual to individual, groups to the groups, or the institutions to the institutions. Means there is means we don't have a common line which will describe up to this extent only that information is to be exposed. It completely depends upon the individuals, groups, or the institutions. So, this definition is often described as a information privacy. Means what information we are disclosing and what information we are keeping inside. Means definitely this definition moves around the information privacy. So, to understand this information privacy, let's look at some example. And so, definitely that example which I have taken is completely based upon a ubiquitous computing or a UbiComp. So, to understand the UbiComp privacy, let's think the example as a smart fridge. Basically, in a smart home, there are many smart devices available. So, one of the smart device is a smart fridge. Basically, I think long back I have described the concept of smart fridge as well. Means whatever things we are keeping inside the fridge is going to record the things present inside. And so, whenever the stock inside the fridge goes down to the particular level, automatically that fridge is going to order the things from maybe from a grocery shop, maybe from the online purchases or whatever it may be. Means just remember the thing that the smart fridge is going to order the things as per the requirement of means whatever things we are keeping inside, and if they goes low to the below certain level, so definitely your fridge is going to order that kind of the things. Now the things which we are keeping inside the fridge, let's say there are few atoms like atom X, atom Y and atom Z we are keeping into the fridge, and if the atom X is going to down below a certain level, and that thing that I don't want to disclose online, means whenever your fridge is going to make some online placing some online orders, so definitely the information about XYZ or purchase of XYZ is disclosed to the third party, that is the online purchase website. So I am a person of opinion that I don't want to disclose the atom X, but my fridge has taken the decision that the atom X, Y and Z to be purchased from certain website or some website. So definitely it is a privacy breaching for me, and that's for atom X, because I don't want to disclose that atom X, but my fridge has taken that decision and given that order. So that kind of the information, means information about the stock of X, Y and Z, that is communicated by the fridge to the third party, in which I don't want to disclose X, means this is information privacy breaching, means my information privacy is compromised here because of that smart fridge. So let's look at this photograph, where means everything in this house is this whole house is equipped with a smart devices, means a smart fridge, a smart door, a smart lighting system, means everything takes its own decision based upon certain prior knowledge or what kind of the feeding I have given to that system. Now, so this is about the privacy, and I have given the simple example how it is going to breach the privacy. Now we will look at the Solvay's taxonomy of privacy. So privacy is a product of norms, activities and legal protection. So definitely the laws and privacy and everything moves around, means it has two parts. The first part is a procedure and second part is a legal protection about that. So that the first point which I have mentioned here is privacy is a product of norms, activities and legal protection. So privacy is about respecting the desires of individuals, where compatible with aims of a larger community. Privacy is not just about what the people expect, but what they desire. Privacy is not merely an individual right, it is an important component of any flourishing community. Privacy is not one thing, but a cluster of many distinct yet related things. Below is the Professor Solvay's taxonomy of different kinds of related activities that falls under the rubric of privacy. So basically, in this figure or in this picture, there are few things which which Solovey has defined. So there is a first component where the information collection, information processing, then information dissemination, and innovation. These are the four components he mentioned. So it is very much clear from the nomenclature only. The information collection is about collecting the information, might be from individuals or groups or the institutions. Once we collect that information, we will be keeping that information into a particular form, and we will be reorganizing, restructuring that information, means we are processing that information. And whenever we are collecting that information or processing that information, the innovation may happen. That is, some introducer or a third party which is maliciously getting that information or collecting that information or breaching or stealing that information. And whenever we are going to disseminate that information, there may be a chance of breaching the confidentiality, disclosing unwanted components of that information, then the extra exposure to the information, increased accessibility of that information, and based upon that, blackmailing and other things that are going to happen with that information. So based upon this Solovey's taxonomy, which moves around information collection, information processing, information dissemination, and innovation. So we'll look into the details one by one. So it's a law of nature that none of these activities are inherently bad, nor is privacy inherently good. So you keep in mind this one. None of these activities are inherently bad, nor is the privacy inherently good. The interests that sometimes conflict with privacy. Means again, one more component which I have introduced here, and that is the conflicts. Conflicts generated based upon interest. Means wherever we are collecting some information, and if I add my interest there, so definitely this will breach or this will generate a conflict in the other phases of that Solovey's taxonomy, that is the information processing, information dissemination, and the invasion. So the interests that sometimes conflict with the privacy, so for example free speech, security, transparency, and efficient consumer transactions are all quite valuable. Means everything is valuable. We must balance the value of privacy and conflicting interest to determine which should prevail in any particular situation. In many cases, protecting privacy does not involve zero-sum trade-off. We can protect privacy without sacrificing a conflicting interest if we have procedure and limitations that addresses the problem. Means, like earlier I told, means laws are important, then based upon that laws, action is also important, but by the same time procedure for the privacy is also important. Now the first phase of Solovey's taxonomy, that's information collection. Again, that information collection might be based upon many components. We'll look into the that components one by one. The means and the process of gathering the data can create a privacy problem. So first of all, let's say surveillance. Surveillance means it is a watching, a listening to, or recording of an individual's activities. It can chill the expression and political activity, give too much power to the watchers, and make the people feel creepy and inhibited. Means surveillance is okay up to some extent, but if you are allowing to record, to listen, to watch beyond certain level, so definitely this is a violation. Next point is the interrogation. Interrogation consists of various forms of questioning or probing for information. Means the individual is asking a question to the another individual. It can be too praying and coercive in some circumstances. Means someone is asking some question to the individuals. Let's say a teacher is asking a question to the student to collect some data. So for example, what's your name? What's your height? Then what's your birth date, and many more. Many things, and where the student can give the answers. But there are few questions that are very much personal to the student, where the student can deny that. Means the interrogations. The second point in the Solvay's taxonomy is the information processing. So, or the next point in the information processing is a aggregation that involves the combination of various pieces of data about a person. Aggregation can create a privacy problem because combining data can reveal the facts about a person that are not readily known and that a person did not expect to know when providing a data. Means whatever data we collected, if you are putting the data into a combined form, and that combined form may create a problem. That combined form may breach the privacy of individual whose information we collected. The next point in the information processing is identification. Identification is a linking the information to a particular individuals. Identification can innovate one's ability to be anonymous or pseudo-anonymous. Insecurity that involves carelessness in protecting stored information from being leaked or improperly accessed by someone else, and this makes people more vulnerable to the fraud and identity theft. Then secondary use of that information in the information processing is a use of information collected for one purpose, for a different purpose, without a person's consent. Secondary creates a harm as it involves using the information in the ways a person does not consent to and might not find desirable. The last point in the information processing is the exclusion. The concerns the failures to allow the people to know about the data and the data others have about them and participate in its handling and use. Exclusion reduces accountability among the entities that maintain records about individuals. The next and third point in the Solvay's taxonomy, that's information dissemination. The privacy problems can be created when the personal data is transferred or disclosed, and even when there is a threat, it will be exposed. The nature of dissemination can create many different problems. Miss, how we are going to disseminate that information? The way we are disseminating that information is going to create the problems, and that problems may be of this kind. The first one, a breach of confidentiality, disclosing the meaningful information or the private information, exposing such a data much to the third party, increased accessibility to someone else, and based upon all of these things, blackmailing, appropriation and distortion happens with that information. Basically, these are the problems associated with the information dissemination. The next and last point of the Solvay's taxonomy, that is innovation. Certain activities creates impeachments directly to the individuals, interfering with the individual's private life. That's by intrusions. Concerns invasive acts that disturb one's privacy or solitude. Decisional interference involves the government's incursion into the people's decisions regarding their private affairs. Then, Miss, after this Solvay's taxonomy, we'll look into the legal background of privacy protection in the ubiquitous computing. Data protection and privacy laws provides an important aspect for understanding both why as well as how of the privacy protection. Laws and regulations mirror a social process that defines for a particular culture a set of practices that are acceptable and unacceptable. Looking at privacy law thus helps us understand what society envisions privacy to be. At the same time, laws are also tools that may complement, support, or in turn rely on a technical privacy tools. Privacy laws are fair information principles which were drawn up in the early 1980s by the Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development (OECD), and which describes 8 practical measures aimed at harmonizing the processing of a personal data in its member countries. By setting out a core principles, the organization hoped to obviate the unnecessary restrictions to transborder data flows both on and offline. The 8 principles are as follows. The first one is collection limitation principle. Basically, this principle describes how and how much information that is to be collected, and there should be limit on it. Limit on collection of a data is in a lawful way. Data quality principle. The relevance of the data to be to the purpose means what is the purpose of collection of data and what data we are collecting. So basically the data quality lies in between. So that data quality principle that is to be followed. Purpose specification principle. Purpose must be specified for collection of personal data. Means whenever you collect a personal data, so definitely the purpose of collecting the personal data that should be specified. Use limitation principle. Means whatever data we are collecting, and that personal information that is not to be disclosed, means we are limiting on the use of information we collected earlier. Security safeguards principle. Whatever personal data collected must be protected. Openness principle. There should be a general policy of openness. Means whatever information we are collecting, what part of that information should be disclosed, what part should not be disclosed. Means we must be open on this aspect, on this background. So individual participation principle. So basically means whatever information collected about me, by following all the above rules or the principles which I have stated, it's a right of individual to demand its own information back. That is the individual participation principle. And the last one is accountability principle. Whatever data collected, means I am following him as a data collector, and that data collector is completely responsible of the disclosing that information badly to someone else, which will breach the security of or privacy of individual. Now we'll stop here. Means we covered 3-4 points like data. What's a data privacy, or what's a ubiquitous privacy? The second one is Solovitz taxonomy, and third one is a legal background. So in next lecture we'll look at interpersonal privacy. So till then we'll stop.